Hello and welcome to Breaking Late. I'm your host, Michael, and with me is a man that got plenty of sleep on the weekend. No late races anymore. How's it going, JD?
Very good, mate. Very good. We got plenty of racing action over the weekend. Pity they're all very short races.
Very early.
Yes.
I forget how far.
New Zealand is
how
on
far
the
away
time
it is.
zones. Yeah. It's one of the first countries to hit the new day. So, it was... The racing was pretty uneventful in my view.
It's something that we're going to get into a bit later with the sprint races and
what do you
hard
think of the
tyres.
weekend anyway in general? Just
It was a good weekend. There was the racing, not huge amounts happen in the racing, but some of the other racing, there was that big accident in the 86 series.
Oh, geez, wasn't that... There was a couple of big
scary
crashes, yeah, and then the obviously the one where the young fella, I don't even think he was 19 or anything. I think he was quite young. Ended up over the fence.
Yeah,
in pit lane
on his roof.
Yeah, yep. So
if you haven't seen the video, we'll put it in the show notes. But that was crazy. That's some high speed crashing. They were saying there was almost like an open wheel.
Well, it's very similar to open wheel because he just, as they were going around the bend, he was on the outside and just clipped that rear tire of the other competitor. I'm not sure the fella's name, but yeah, he clipped the tire on the other competitor's car and just launched the car in the air. And as he went across the gravel trap, it decided it wanted to roll over and
flip, and then rolled straight over that fence and then came down on his roof. It
pole vaulted itself up and over, and
it was in the pit lane or something, wasn't it? It was definitely in the pit area where it landed, so the crew could get to it nice and early. And the driver was fine.
Yeah.
It was
Actually, I was really and that's something they pointed out in the telecast. But the safety in those must be quite good because he did.
Well, they're not a big car because
the car didn't even fly apart or anything either.
Because in the video that I'll link in the show notes, you see there's another incident a bit. I don't know if it was earlier on or
it was slightly earlier. Yeah,
slightly earlier where he overcorrected onto the main straight and slapped it into the wall. That was a big impact as well.
Yeah, that would have rattled him a little bit. Concrete wall. So
nice solid car though. You can see it lift up the front three
wheels.
Oh
yeah, it's three wheeled. Yeah, as he overcorrected it, three wheeled. So no, they must be pretty safe because both of those drivers got out and walked away from them. So
it's a good testament to the cars. But it's always good to see. You don't want to see drivers getting stretched away.
Other big crashes, I guess you probably got to look at Bright's crash as well.
That was big.
That was a lot bigger than I thought to begin with. I didn't give it as much, and then they started getting more close-up views of it. It's pushed the whole rear end off the car, and geez, he wasn't overly happy.
No,
and I think rightly so. If you watch the replays,
it wasn't. I don't think it was Bridie's fault.
No. Look, he's brave to go around the outside there. Everyone knows that. You normally lift it out of that corner, and they all try and slot in.
Yep.
But early laps where you're trying to make positions, I don't blame him.
Because that red flagged the race, didn't it?
It sure did.
Yep.
Lap 3 or something.
Yeah, I joined shortly up because once again these early races I completely misjudged what time they would start. I'm not used to races starting so early.
Yeah.
Got into it and I think it was lap 4. I was like, what's happened? Bright's already in the garage, and I swear they just sort of restarted.
Yeah.
Rewatched the replay from that, and that was scary.
Yeah, it was. It was a big shunt.
Good
the
work
team did
to the
a
guys,
massive job. I called it. I said that was it for him.
Yeah, I remember you sent me that message saying, Bright's done for the weekend. And he was back out there on the Sunday.
You got to give it to him. I don't know if they got help from the same crew that Lowndes got help from last year, but they pulled out a massive effort and fixed that car and got back out there. It was really good effort. And it qualified in the top 20.
Yeah, slightly better than where it was.
Yeah, I think 14th or something like that.
On the Sunday, Bright didn't have great things to say about the car, though.
Yeah.
He was he wasn't happy with how it was driving. But
I can imagine so.
Yeah, you can't imagine. Because they don't go with that many spares over in New Zealand. It was really just a flyaway round.
Yeah, definitely.
They're restricted on rebuilding.
They've got a box. All the team have to, they can put as much stuff as they want in that box, but it's all got to fit in that box. So feel for them. But no, they did a great job to have a car out there and present a car and, get their sponsors airtime and all that. It's really good.
All right, well, we'll just quickly jump into
news.
Quick news.
Not too much this week. We capped most of it last week. There's a few things going on. One really major one.
Craig Lowndes has lost his engineer.
He has, yes.
Ludo's gone.
Ludo's jumped ships and he's over to DJR, and Roland Dane is not happy.
No, he hung around. Oh, yeah.
17 years.
Well,
he's
yeah,
been
it was
with
hung around for ages.
Triple Eight. And now he's moved on, but he waited the whole season, pretty much. One race left after this meeting that's just been, to announce that he's going to DJR, and I think that's what's pissed Roland Dane off.
Yeah, I think he just had some gardening to do and just he's only got a small patio. See, when Adrian left, he had a big backyard. He needed like 6 months off.
Yeah. They haven't given him too much gardening leave, but yeah, I think he's dirty.
How do you think that's
Roland's
gonna go?
dirty on him because, well, obviously the Triple Eight cars have developed a little bit this year as well. That's, I think, where he's got the shits with it. He hung around knowing he was going to leave, seeing what they're doing, and probably seeing what next year's car's going to be. They probably made a lot of decisions already on next year's car.
Oh, you'd have to that late in the season.
Yep, and so yeah, I don't think he'll be overly happy. Well, he voiced his opinion. He's not overly happy.
No, and Roland was saying that he always thought that Ludo was probably leaving, but didn't think he was going to another team.
Yeah, and I think another team which has probably got one of the top 3 budgets now, maybe top.
Penske's probably got
top 4, at least top 4 team in budget wise. You never know; those cars might be dragged up the grid
this
because
could be
of
a blessing in disguise for Triple Eight. It's allowed them. I think Ludo was one of their last long-term employees, and maybe if they want to change a few things up, bring a few younger guys in, you got to have some people go.
Well, they did talk about that because Jeremy Moore left a couple of years ago, and Roland come out and said basically it was because Jeremy had no position to go to. He couldn't offer him a higher position. He was stuck where he was, and Jeremy didn't want to be doing that anymore. He wanted to move more into the technical side of it, so he left. Now Ludo's gone. They can now upgrade some of the younger engineers that have been there for quite a few years too.
Well, they had who was working on?
I'm not sure.
John
He was
McGregor.
an Irish fella.
Yeah, and he did all right. Like Lowndes, he wasn't doing great at the start on the Saturday. He was very, very far off the pace.
Yeah, their car setup was way off.
I always look at that. I'm like, when you see Lowndes so far off, you're like, just go into the Red Bull garage, and copy.
That's what he did on the Sunday.
They were back up there, though. They were competitive again.
Yeah, I think they copied Wingcup's setup into Craig's car, and it's happened a couple of times in the last couple of meetings, actually. I think the same thing happened in Gold Coast. They went and copied Wingcup or Giz's setup.
I think you've done that a few times. Just do it straight up and then see how you adjust from there.
Yeah, it's funny because I know that they're not the same team as such, but it's like Craig does his own Fridays and then commits to the first part of Saturday, and if that doesn't work, then they go look. It's not like they're comparing as many notes as such like they used to, I think, to bring his car up the field.
Yeah, they're trying to do it on their own and just do it on their own merit. But if you got that data and if your car's nowhere, I mean, you only look at how much cars move around over a week. Like, you can see them on the weekend. They could be nowhere on Friday, and then all of a sudden they do some adjustments Saturday morning, and then they're right up there, and then they think, I've got a little bit more in it, adjust it, and then they're back off to nowhere again. Yeah. I don't think there's much,
Well, there's not, with these cars.
You're treading a fine line.
Yeah, they're probably trimming things better. Honestly, I think I sent you a message, actually, when the announcement come out last week, and basically said it could be a little bit of a blessing. See, Ludo's a very flamboyant engineer.
Yes.
Sometimes that doesn't work. Trying things when you're a front runner, you don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel. You've just got to consistently be fast. And Craig's pace this year, I'm not saying it's all Ludo here, but it's been up and down.
Yeah, he's been very inconsistent.
Yeah, he'll be a cracking fast setup one meeting, next meeting off pace. And it's really shown. And the last few meetings, he's had to sort of poach setups off the Red Bull team.
Yep.
To get his car going well. And it just doesn't seem to be working. So maybe this is a little bit of a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, well, I end up sending you a message going, nah, screw it, we're calling it. Ludo's shit is all Lounsey. You jump ship. That's what you get. No, Ludo.
No, good luck to Ludo, and good luck to DJR and Team Penske.
Well, how do you think this is going to go for them? Like, they've recruited pretty hard this year.
Well, I'm actually a little bit worried for the engineers that are there.
Yeah, well, they've...
Because is Scotty's engineer coming with him as well?
Yeah, and I thought they brought Ludo's. They brought Fabian's.
Fabs, yeah, Fabs is there. His engineer's there as well.
Is Ludo going there as a technical director role, what he already had in AAA, instead of going over as an engineer?
Possibly, because Fab's come out in the weekend. He said, I don't want to lose my engineer. They've been together for a long time. They work well together, so he wants to keep him.
It is a partnership that drivers need to build up on. You need to be able to trust the guy on the other end of the radio telling you to make these big calls.
Yeah, and the language you speak to each other. If you know how each other work, you know how it all works. So, yeah, maybe he's just going there as more of a car development person. Yeah, like a technical director, like you said.
But now with
Red Bull hasn't been sitting on their hands either, but they've just got that ex-Formula 1 engineer come to their team.
Yeah, he's part-time something.
But
was it Sam?
He's going to be a technical, sort of on the technical side of it as well. So
he's done a few bits. He's done a bit with V8s over the last couple of years. He's not straight out of F1.
No.
He came back. He's been in Australia for a little bit. Where is it? Trying to find his name. Yeah, Sam Michael.
Yeah. So he could maybe bring some new ideas to Red Bull, which might be good.
Well, the pace that Red Bull's showing for the last few rounds, they're still
1, 2, 3 in the championship. You can't take it away from them.
No, they're in a really. Apart from that one incident, like race 2, where Frosty just got that lightning start.
Yeah,
they were untouchable the rest of the races.
Yeah,
the only people that touch each other were the Red Bulls.
Yeah, it's true. It is true, and a clumsy one at that. Like
it's very amateur.
Yeah.
Maybe Lowndes shouldn't copy WinCup's setup too much because he's like very easily to lock the rears. Maybe just adjust the brake bias just that little bit more to the front and just take the strain off the rears.
Because it's a couple of silly little mistakes from WinCup in the last couple of rounds.
Uncharacteristic. Oh, I say uncharacteristic, but now they're sort of starting to.
Well, he's pushing harder, I think. See.
Yeah, but that pass, it didn't look. I know we're jumping forward again, but that pass really should have been on. Shane wasn't fighting. I know Shane took the different line through there every time, but
I think Shane had actually opened the door.
Yeah,
for him
he
as
even said, "Sorry guys, I thought I left enough room." I'm like, "Nah, Shane, it wasn't. You had nothing to do with that."
Yeah, Shane. That was not Shane's fault. I think WinCup was a little bit too far back.
Yeah,
and then Shane opened the door, so WinCup went.
Like,
I've got to do it now
for this. Yep.
I've got to get it done now. Get it done. Press on, try and catch Frosty, and all it did was he just overcommitted.
Yep.
That's just a little bit too deep, and
they both span around exactly the same time. It looked
if
like
Shane had have taken a normal racing line, he probably would have missed him because he could have just turned to the left a little bit and sort of kept braking and missed him. But because Shane did the nice thing and tried to let him through, he was right where the runoff was, and WinCup just tagged him, and very light contact and not much in it, but. I think it was blowing up a lot more than probably needed to be. Yeah. I think Roland Dane actually handled it really well.
Yeah, we did. He basically come out and said, well, we can't, if we could lose the championship from here, then yeah, he would be a lot more upset. But it's going to be one of those two to win the championship. Exactly. And really, it's going to be Shane.
Unless Shane puts it in the wall pretty bad on Friday.
I think he just needs to finish like in the top 6. Regardless of where WinCup finishes, and he wins on Saturday. So Shane can wrap this up Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But they won't. They won't wrap it up until the last race because you could get a penalty.
Yeah, it's true. But if Shane doesn't put it in the wall pretty heavy, I don't see WinCup winning.
No, Shane's won the Sunday race in Sydney the last 2 years, I think.
Yeah, he's a pretty good driver around those street circuits. He really squeezes that. He enjoys squeezing that last 10th out.
I am looking forward to the skid he did.
Yeah.
Quick talk about skids. WinCup skid. Pretty good.
Yeah, he's stepping his game up.
He is. And I was trying to find a video of it, and I can't find it. And did you notice, like, the big on the brakes sort of semi-standstill he did right near the official and then took off past him? I was like, Oh, I was wondering if he was going to get in trouble for that.
Yeah,
I think the official was sort of egging him on a little bit, though.
Yeah, the official, told him to keep going.
Yeah.
So, no, I think it was
But no,
cool.
much better skid.
Yeah, he's stepped his game up pretty hardcore this year.
And then when you see Shane driving through the smoke was like so slow. I had thought how slow he was going to go. He's going to see where Whincup is and like, yep. Well, I've won the Jason Richards trophy. Let me do a skid.
Well, I thought so too. I was waiting for him to do a skid.
But he didn't do a skid. That was
2 Red Bull cars doing a skid. Well, he seemed a bit emotional. Maybe
a little too much.
Yeah.
To do it. And it was good to see, he's the first Kiwi to win the Jason Richards trophy.
Just back on the news.
Yeah.
Lance Stroll, they finally announced it all. And
finally, it's come out. I was so surprised when that got announced.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Me neither, no. Not that he's been wearing martini freaking race shirts everywhere and all that.
No, it's good to see. And he's come out and he says, I read a few things and he goes, like, he's not denying. He's like, yes, I come from money. But he's like, if you look, I think he's won every championship he's been in.
He won, this year he won the European Formula 3 Championship, which is a pretty big championship.
Yeah, well,
Some big names in
he
there.
came out, it's like, I've won like every championship I've been in. I think it's shown that I think it's shown that I deserve a shot at this. It's like, he's not just the pay driver to get there.
I agree with you, and I also disagree with you a little bit as well.
If he didn't have the money, he wouldn't be there at such a young age.
Yeah. They installed a simulator at Williams earlier this year.
Was that his money?
His father paid for it.
Yep.
So, and they installed it earlier this year. Bottas and Massa haven't been allowed to use it because it was set up, configured for Formula 3 so that he could practice his Formula 3. So they've installed this multi-million-dollar simulator at Williams.
And only Stroll can use it.
And Stroll's the only one allowed to use it. And then it will be reconfigured.
Well, what happens if Bottas wants to just have a shot at Formula 3? He's
anyone can probably go in there that's allowed to
Can
be
I go? I'll have a shot on
headquarters.
I'll ring Williams up. Let me have a shot.
Call Claire.
Yeah, Claire, look, I just want to have a shot on the F3 simulator. It'll be fine.
Yeah, so but that was a pretty big thing. I thought it was a bit rude.
Very odd, yeah.
Anyway, but over the off season, it's going to be configured for Formula 1 so that Bottas and Stroll can use it next year. His father's paid $80 million for him to race next year.
Far out.
$80 million. That's big. That's not so like. Let's put that in perspective.
See you getting a return
Vettel
on investment
or Hamilton are not getting paid that together. So
I thought Hamilton was on like 50 million or.
No, Hamilton was on 48 million, I think, and Vettel went to.
Vettel's getting paid more than Hamilton.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So I take that back.
I'm pretty
sure.
So
it's probably about the same rate as what they're getting paid.
Yeah, those two. Yeah, but I just can't see spending $80 million getting a return on investment.
Okay. Well, I did a bit of research yesterday, and his father's net worth estimated, because I don't think they don't write this stuff down for anyone.
Their tax out there. I earned exactly.
So his net worth this year was estimated at $2.4 billion. So he's got a little bit of chump change. He owns a Ferrari dealership in Quebec, in Canada.
Yeah.
Or Quebec.
French
and
Canada.
He also collects vintage Ferraris. He owns like so many. I went through some of the list, and he's got some crazies. Like,
so does that mean Stroll's really aiming for Ferrari then?
I don't know. Maybe.
His dad will so buy. Like, he's like, Stroll drives a Ferrari. Like, let me buy that one.
Yeah, well,
I need that for the collection.
He's got a love Ferrari even as well.
Ooh, the Ferrari.
Yes. Yep. So
stupid name.
It's they got money. And
but still $80 million.
It will be interesting. Well, he brought every team pretty much that Lance drives in. So, like the F3 team, he brought that. I'm pretty sure he brought a GP2 team.
What does he do with them? Finish with them? Just like
I don't know.
Close it down.
Fuck it, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah,
someone else take it now. So
just needed it while my son was racing.
And Lance is going into Formula 1 with more testing time than anyone for like the last decade.
Since Hamilton.
No, they said since Jacques Villeneuve.
Oh, really? Because I remember Hamilton came in after having heaps of testing. That's why he was so competitive in his rookie year.
He's driven, I think, 10 different tracks in a 2014 Williams.
How do you do that? Is it just because it's so old?
He had 2 brand new Mercedes engines. Like, they poured money into this.
So, if you're not a signed driver, you can just, like, get your hands...
Buy an old
if
car,
you can get your hands on an old car, you can do as much driving as you want until you sign on that dotted line and, like, now you're a Formula 1 driver,
so,
testing's limited.
Like, just for the list of tracks, he drove it, like, Sochi, Russia, Nürburgring, Austria. There was literally, I think there was 8 tracks or 10 tracks that he's driven this year in 2014 Williams. They're all Formula 1 tracks.
Far out. That's
Monza, Silverstone. He's just driven everything. It's unbelievable the track time this kid's had in a Formula 1 car. So don't be surprised to see him out there next year and be competitive with Bottas pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, I guess if you
especially because the cars are changing as well next year, so no one's really got that advantage. Like if someone new comes into Formula 1 now, they don't necessarily have a disadvantage to someone else. So yeah, it will be interesting to see. There's just some interesting facts we were learning yesterday.
I can't believe it. He bought him a simulator and he's like, you're not allowed to drive it. That's just crazy.
Yeah. Yep. I suppose the team probably don't say anything because they get to keep the simulator now.
Yeah, you're like, that's my simulator.
Yeah.
Other F1 news, Sebastian didn't get punished in the end
for
his outbursts.
Yeah, he didn't. That was...
I thought he was going to. I thought at least... I think he got a good speaking to.
I think so.
He's apologised.
I think he should have been anyway, regardless.
Yeah.
I think that's... If you did that to a cricket umpire or...
Yeah, like we touched on, match fee.
Anyone. That would... It's just not on. And
I would slap him with probably, what?
Points.
$20,000 fine.
I would take a couple of points off him.
Oh, nah, that's...
Not team points, but off his driver's championship.
Yeah, but I don't think F1 use point penalties.
They do not.
So
the only point penalty they give you is on your license.
Yeah, but that's why I think, if it should have been like a $20,000-$25,000 fine.
It's chump change to him.
Right.
It's more than that a week.
A match fee, whatever he gets, whatever his race fee is.
Yeah.
50% of it.
It's a really hard one, isn't it? Because you really want that fine to be consistent through the field.
Yeah, but even like...
But if you find, say... who's someone? Carlos Sainz. If you find him $200,000,
he's ruined.
He'd be like, How am I going to find $200,000?
Yeah.
You find Sebastian Vettel and he goes, can you wait for next week's paycheck? Just give you that.
Yeah, hang on. You take cash? Well, you find most of the V8 supercars when you get fined, it's all suspended fully suspended until the end of the year. Quick news that came out today, actually.
Yes.
Is the Liberty Media takeover of Formula 1 still isn't confirmed.
I have not read this yet.
Anti-corruption... what are they? Like the ACCC. What do they call it? CMA, the Competition and Marketing Authority in Britain, will not release their findings until January the 5th or something about if they'll approve the sale.
You're kidding me.
Nah, but I did mention this last couple episodes ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but till January. This is such a major deal.
Yeah, because they own...
TV rights and everything that's going to be up in the air.
I think otherwise they just keep... CVC Capital keeps owning it.
That's very interesting.
I can't see this not going through. I think this is just some... We'll get some clicks.
Technical
we'll say
hoops.
that it could face some investigation and stuff. They just got to make sure it's all...
above board.
It's a big deal. It's bloody 10.4 billion Australian dollars or 8 billion US.
It's pretty big.
It's a lot more than Lance Stroll's dad has.
Yeah, it is. Although he could buy a pretty good chunk of it.
Yeah, he could buy a little bit of it.
Yeah, he could buy it at 20%.
But I still just don't. I don't see that not going through. The amount of fanfare that everyone's made about it. There was something there the other day. Ross Brawn was going to become a...
Yeah, that was circulating. Someone must have wrote a news article about it, and then all of a sudden everyone wrote the news article about it.
I
It was
opened the
going on
computer
everywhere.
in the morning, looked at my F1 news feed that I have set up, and Ross Brawn to replace Bernie. So I'm straight on to messaging you going, Ross Brawn's bloody replacing Bernie. He's gone.
Well, I read, no joke, I would have read at least 8 articles on it, and I'm going, must be true.
Yeah.
Because
and then next day, Ross
so
Brawn
many.
comes out, it's like, nah, I'm not doing it. And then I still don't know. I think he's going to do some sort of advisory role.
Yeah, and now that's what started to come out about it. It's like, no, I'm not taking it.
I'm not
Bernie will always probably be there as the track he negotiates with.
I could see them freezing Bernie and just pushing him around to all the tracks. Even like he could be 105 and just be a frozen popsicle.
Yeah.
Here's Bernie standing
He'll be like
on the
Futurama, just the talking heads.
Yeah, like the Nixon head.
Yeah. So, like, he does a lot of negotiations with the countries and stuff that want to have a new track or whatever, and he does all the corrupt stuff. I mean, he doesn't do any corrupt stuff.
Yeah, he does
There's
all the
no
contract negotiations
yes,
is what you were doing.
Yes,
you got mixed up with the contract and the corruption.
Yeah, where he gets paid for things and then just signs. Yeah, no, that's not what happens.
No.
But anyway, Ross Brawn was going to come in from more of an advisory role on how they should develop the sport.
I think Ross Brawn's got a better relationship with the teams.
I think he's got so much respect from the teams, it's not funny, to be honest. Him, Adrian Newey, if they put their hands up and said, I want a job, I'd say every team in the paddock would be like,
okay,
pick us.
Job. Yeah. I mean, it's really, we do have to start looking at replacing Bernie. He is old as shit.
How old is he now? He must be 80-something, yeah. The poor fella, I've got to give it to him. He goes everywhere. He flies to nearly every meeting of the year.
He's 86.
There you go.
Born.
He's looking good for an 86-year-old.
He's just past his birthday, 28th of October.
There you go. Well, happy birthday. Belated birthday for you, mate.
You old bastard.
I love that photo. We just Googled it, and there's like a photo of Bernie Ecclestone giving the finger.
Yeah, it's a famous photo. I like if you type in Bernie Ecclestone into Google, it's like daughter. Straight up. It's like you don't want him, you just want his daughter. But, yeah, I think we need to get at least a replacement plan put in place because he is, people don't live forever.
No. And surely, well, I guess he likes to be involved, so he wouldn't be there if he didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, true.
So,
And, the corruption, the contract money's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't get much contract money.
So we'll jump across to V8 Supercar news from what there is. In news that's kind of out today we can do news in whatever order. It doesn't have to be post-race, pre-race. Gary Rogers is building 2 new Commodores for the development series. Wink, wink.
Quotation marks.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think this is plan B?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Yeah, they've got to cover their asses because they're not finished contractual negotiations with Volvo. Obviously, Volvo won't be sponsoring next year, but Volvo still want their cars back.
Yep.
And
he's got a race in is what, March? 2nd of March or something, Clipsals.
Yeah, so there's big arguments, and this will be good on them. They're covering their ass. And his Commodores were quick.
Oh, yeah, they're doing pretty good.
Well, remember, Scotty, the first year of the new car of the future, whatever we call it now, the car of the now.
Yeah.
It was a Commodore, so that was and it was quite quick. He was one of the faster ones, so good on him, and hopefully builds.
And their cars are doing all right in the development series. I guess James Golden, he wouldn't be too mad if they're like, they're building me a brand new chassis.
Yeah, especially if he doesn't get a seat in the main game for next year. Because that's actually what we were talking about beforehand, is actually where do we think Garth Tander's going to go? It's very late in the year to not have a decision yet.
Yep.
There's only a few seats open, and that's probably one of the only good-looking seats.
You jumped in speculation corner, and you're saying Tander's going to drive for peanuts at GRM.
Yeah, I think Tander, he'd probably still get a handsome pay from Gary.
Yeah.
But, Gary doesn't have
millions.
A couple mil or, 1.5 mil to pay Tander to come drive for him. I think Tander will be more happy just to have a seat in the main game. And realistically, if they go back to the Commodore, they're still going to be competitive. If they go Volvo, they're going to be competitive. And if they go the Commodore, they're going to be competitive.
Volvo is still quite good. Like, I think Volvo is... I mean, I know Scotty's done this move. He's going to DJR next year, but... And this could come back and make me look like an idiot next year if DJR, Team Penske, just, nail it. But the Volvos are looking better at the last few tracks, I think.
Well...
They're consistent until, Scotty runs into the back of someone and damages his car.
Yeah, and it was his idol.
Yeah.
He ran up Craig Lowndes' ass.
Yeah.
I'm
not sure really what happened with that. It was sort of just...
just a bit of concertina,
Someone broke, he didn't break, and then
he just misjudged it. Nothing too much in it. Well, that was a big thing, Speculation Corner here again. DJR were quite quick on Sunday.
They were, but they were nowhere Saturday.
There was a bit of conspiracy theories thinking Ludo had already started helping DJR with their setup.
That's bullshit. That's not true.
Yeah, I agree.
I doubt Ludo was anywhere near a racetrack.
And I also don't think, look at the last couple of meetings, they've been copying other people's setups anyway, so it's not like he could just feed them this will get you on pole. So, but they were quite quick. They just had one lap pace and not the race pace.
And I still think Scotty Pye's outperforming Fabian.
I like Scotty Pye. Hopefully HRT, Walkinshaw, next year, pull their finger out and actually have a quick chassis, because it's a bit of a joke what they've got at the moment.
Oh, it's a handful.
And actually, one thing, what's your view on the fact that Courtney hasn't got a new chassis? Tander got a new chassis, and now he's outperformed Courtney pretty much every round.
Mate, if I was Courtney, I wouldn't complain. He's got to drive.
Yeah, but I'd be pretty shitty.
Yeah, but,
they've written this year off, obviously. They're not
but why would he need a new chassis? Like, Garth got it, just before the Endurances?
Yeah.
So did Whincup, didn't he? Didn't Whincup
I'm not
get a late
talking about
one?
now. I'm talking about I would have wanted one
you
at the start of the new Endurance.
Yeah, but then
as
were they running both the new chassis at the start of the year?
I think so. I think they were, yeah.
Look, I don't think Courtney cares too much. This year's already written off for him. He's got to drive next year. Let's keep Garth happy.
Maybe he's also looking at next year. Don't build me a new chassis now. We'll work out a fast one over the off-season and build it then.
All the fast parts from Garth's car, though, put on my car.
What works on his car now, we'll keep those bits and we'll scrap the rest.
I mean, Garth's car's actually going really well.
Yeah, he's been going quite well. Yeah, it's qualified heaps better.
Yeah.
Their race pace has always been there, but their qualification is...
Last year was sad watching
better.
Garth Tander that far down the grid. All the time.
Yeah. And Courtney, and their race pace last year wasn't even that great. It was just the two drivers were dragging him up the field, and that's why they were having so many incidents.
Yeah, well, Garth Tander was getting most overtakes, ever. Pretty much.
Yep, and Courtney was getting most run into Garth Tanders ever.
Oh, lots of them.
3 meetings in a row almost.
They come together in Darwin too, didn't they?
Yeah, they come together 3 times.
Yeah, that wasn't good. I don't think they come together this year.
Not too much, no. They've had some really good racing actually in New Zealand. They'll nose to tail quite often, switch places, and they come in and they looked happy as hell. They're like, we're fighting it out for 14th or 15th again, or something. But they were really, really happy, so it was good to see.
And HRT want to send Garth off on a good note in Sydney. I mean, I know they're not going to come out and be like, I hope Garth puts it into a wall or something. I mean, the guys at the shop don't want that, but I hope he, nice, good, solid result in HRT. And
yeah, well, if he doesn't get a seat, I'll put it out there, I'm not the biggest Garth fan, but I don't want to see him go from V8s just yet.
No, he's still got a little bit to offer.
Yeah, I think, honestly, if anyone has to go to pick a couple of drivers, it would probably be nothing against these two.
Dale Wood.
Well, there's 3 drivers.
Tim Blanchard.
No, I wasn't even picking him because he was sort of more a paid driver that's helping a team get their car out there. Jason Bright, I think, is time to hang the boots up,
Yep.
which sounds like he could be.
Yeah, well, he's leaving.
Now, have they announced a driver for that team?
Yeah, Nick Percat.
Oh, yeah, they have, haven't they?
Nick Percat. That's something we haven't touched on. Yeah, Nick Percat's going to BJR.
Yes, yes. Todd Kelly was the other driver I think should probably hang the boots up. And I've mind blanked the third one now.
Andre Heimgartner?
No.
Chris Pither?
No, it wasn't any of the young drivers because I'll give them time. They'll give them another season to prove themselves.
Superblack Racing apparently there was something I read. They got to prove themselves to be commercially viable or something.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. All those teams have to prove themselves to be commercially viable. Yeah, you got Dale Wood. Oh yeah, that's the three of them. Yeah, Dale Wood.
I told you Dale Wood. Dale Wood's hopeless.
Yeah, Todd Kelly and Jason Bright. Those are the three.
Dale Wood, after his performance...
Oh, my God. Yep.
We'll jump straight into this.
Fuck the news. We're back onto the
race.
All right, let's get into the race.
The news.
Yeah, so, what was your views on what happened with Dale Wood and Todd Kelly?
Fucking...
Would you sack him on the spot or what?
Yeah, I would be like, go home, mate. Next
hang
plane.
The keys up. Hang the keys up and
back
fuck
to Australia.
off.
You piss off. We don't need you. We'll
get
another
younger...
He was just
costing the money.
He's doing stupid moves. He had that incident where he got damaged and needed to get back into the pits, and then I don't know if there's too much pride in him that he couldn't just, ease off, pull out of the throttle, roll behind them and get into the pits. No, he had to do another whole lap with damage on the car because...
He's lucky the tyre didn't go down, actually, to be honest. Not that it would have made much difference. It already tore the whole corner out of the bloody thing.
What I would have done to be a fly on the wall in the Nissan cool-down room. Like in the driver debrief.
I hope he shredded him. To be honest, that was a absolute wanker, very Australian for you if you listen overseas, wanker of a move because he turned into him more than once in one race. Yeah. Twice he turned into his
I thought I was watching a replay at one stage and I was like, no, he's just doing it again.
And then when he got the damage, he didn't only turn into him once, he bumped him and then turned into him again, and then turned into him again. I'm like,
didn't
what
he
are
say
you doing?
I didn't know he was there or something. I'm like, what a load of crap.
It was halfway. They were level pegging.
He just, I don't know. His driving this weekend was just really shit. I mean, I can't say there's too many weekends I've come away and going, wow, Dale Wood's driving this weekend was fantastic.
It's a pain in the ass too because he's actually a pretty funny guy.
Oh, he is. He'll be great on camera.
But he needs to pull his head in when he's in a car.
I think he's done.
He's been the rear gunner, basically, for Nissan the whole year. The whole year he's been shocking.
I still think we don't need Dale and his money. Because we know Dale's there with the money.
Yeah.
Dale's bringing GD galvanised.
Yeah, galvanised.
He can go. They're getting Simona and a Harvey Norman money.
Yeah.
Keep Todd on for one more year. Todd, I think, he'd do one more.
He'd do one more?
He'd do.
And my only view with Todd, and I think you agree with me here, is Todd's actually turned into a pretty good team manager.
Yep.
And I think...
But then what are they going to do with Scott Sinclair?
I think Todd can be more like Roland Dane. Run things from the background. Yep. And Scott Sinclair has actually started to perform quite well.
I like him. He's really good.
Yeah, he's grown. He's really honest on the TV when they talk to him. Like he'll just say, "I don't know yet" or whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't give it bullshit real or whatever. So I think, but Todd just doesn't seem to be in it as much anymore. He's actually showing more pace this year than he did last year, but I think that's car pace is there this year compared to last year.
He had that good run in Darwin on Sunday.
Yeah, he did. He has shown pace this year. I just think it'd be nice for him to step back instead of just bashing it into the ground sort of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't think they're in a position to really...
well, Simona's obviously coming in and that will ease. We think that's Dale's gone, but if Todd steps down, maybe they'll keep Dale there for more money.
I don't know if they'll need it. Nissan seem to be fairly committed to him.
More money in racing means more speed.
Yeah.
And they do need more speed. They still
haven't confirmed Rick either. Only Michael is the only confirmed driver for Nissan at the moment.
I think Rick will definitely be there next year.
Yeah, Rick will be
and
there.
Rick deserves to be there.
He was
Rick
pretty
and
much Caruso.
Michael,
Yeah.
Caruso, been the pace setters for Nissan this year, and they've done a pretty good job of it, I think.
Todd's had the pace, but inconsistently. When Todd's had the pace, he's been right up there, and you see the 3 Nissans going together. I wish I could say I see the 4 Nissans, but I haven't seen the 4 Nissans together since Moff was at the team.
Yeah, agreed. Dale's never really there with them. This weekend he kind of was. He was running into them.
He was there. I bet they wish he wasn't. I'm like, fuck, I wish he was back at the pack.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just think this late in the season, I think he's done.
Actually, it's something I thought to myself when I was watching it. Do you think they've told Dale he's not driving for him next year?
Probably. He seems to be a bit shitty.
That was my views on the weekend. I went, this looks like a driver that's been told, hey, boy, you're on the bus, mate. You're not driving next year.
Yeah,
and
Tander's driving better.
And he's doing the opposite of what Tander's. So Tander's fighting for a drive.
Yeah, because Tander can still get one. Yeah, Dale can't get a drive unless Erebus needs someone.
Well, and that's actually it's another seat I've been thinking about. What's going to happen with that license next year?
She can hold on to it. She can hand it back to... I think she can keep it for like 12 months without entering it.
Yeah.
So she might not be in a position.
Because how many licenses does she own?
I think she only owns
2 or 3.
I think she owns 2, but...
Because she had how many cars did they have originally?
They had the 3. Stone Brothers Racing had 3. But then I don't know... I can't remember if Charlie's Schwartz, Team 18 driver.
Schwalkoff.
Yeah, did he own Lee's license and then bring Lee over to HRT?
Yes,
he
did.
Then take his own, so that's where the 3rd car's gone?
Yes.
So that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
So, no, she's only got 2 licenses then.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's...
The one that we don't know what's going to do is what's...
Actually, no, I think Charlie was already with FPR at that stage, wasn't he? And then he switched to HRT.
I don't know.
Interesting. We need the sleuth. V8 sleuth.
Well, if anyone else knows, let us know.
Yeah.
We don't. I mean, we got the internet, we could research, but no. We're not doing that.
Start a conversation with everyone.
I think our category is bigger than sprint racing.
Yeah, I think we should be pretty much nearly all in mini enduros, to be honest. Those are what I like to see. Minimum of 120 Ks. Minimum.
We should do a 300K race, or at least 200K race on this Sunday. We do 200 race on Sunday?
No. 160 Ks or something, I think it was.
Yeah, but I mean, don't we normally do like 120 Ks on the Saturday and like 200 on the Sunday?
In New Zealand? I can't remember.
Not New Zealand. New Zealand's at 4 100K races like Townsville.
Yeah, but it never used to be. It used to be 3 races, and same with Townsville. It's silly. I don't know. If you're listening and you want to actually get in contact with us, let us know what you think of the racing when it's the sprint series format, especially this 4-race sprint series. But I'm not a big fan of it. My view is...
I want longer races.
Longer races are better for our category. Soft tyres, long races, minimum of 120 to 160 Ks.
Yeah.
Give some strategy in there. So we're going to have at least 2 pit stops. You're going to have tyre deg, which is going to bring in, cars passing other cars. You're going to have slower teams that are actually... So, you're going to have people like Nick Percat. Nick's done really well at 2 long races this year.
Yep.
You're going to have smaller teams like
That's
that
good
come
credit
up.
to Lucas Dumbrell Motorsport. And see, when you got the longer races, you can roll the dice.
Yeah, and
because they can go, all right, do we play it safe and we're going to finish 18th or something, or do we roll the dice and who knows what happens? This could pay off, or we could finish 18th.
Yeah, and that's the type of thing I think it really needs to be looked at. When we do these sprint races, it's sheer outright speed.
Yep.
Wow, who wins?
It's who gets
Top
off
4
the line.
teams. Top 4 teams are always going to be up the front of the field pretty much.
Yep.
Where these other events give, like Bathurst and that, gives these lower teams the chance to actually roll the dice and get out there. Although, Bathurst these days seems to be becoming a freaking 1,000-kilometre sprint race.
That was one time, JD. One time we had like half a race with no safety cars.
Yeah, I know. This time.
Yeah, I know.
And Jamie Whincup was so fast that no one could even touch him.
Well, next year it could all change in Bathurst. I was doing some reading, and I remember it did come out, but the Dunlop race, the Dunlop 250k race, is not going to be for championship points next year.
And they're trying to encourage people. I think we talked about this around that round.
Yeah,
actually.
they want them to be in the wild cards.
Yeah, we can enter a few more of the car futures that are running in Dunlop series into the V8 rounds as wild cards. That's going to be really interesting.
Is it just? Are we going to have like a 2-tier race though? That's what I'm afraid of. We already
have.
You look when I know, but you look when you had Renee Gracie in that
and
racing.
Renee Gracie and
when you get the younger teams in, and when they do get a lot of the Dunlop boys, if you got a team with 2 younger drivers, there's a good chance that they're quite far off the pace.
Yeah,
and you're going to get these Dunlop teams that are just they're there to make up the numbers. I don't want them there to make up the numbers. I want them to be competitive. Otherwise, put them in their own race and let them all be competitive together.
You never know, but there might be some other things that come out of it. You never know. There might be some international drivers that come over and pair up to give
international drivers. What's his name? The
Stanway?
Not Stanway. This is a really bad segue when I don't know what I'm talking about. The 2 guys that came over that did the Xbox One.
Not Prema, buddy.
Estrom.
Yep.
And who else was he with? Andy Prelux or whatever. Yeah. He reckons he's got some unfinished business still with the Mountain. And you know what? To be honest, welcome them back.
Holy crap. They did an amazing job. They did an amazing job. They were top 10 in their first ever Bathurst.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. They looked at a chance there that they could bloody win the thing there for a little while.
And they were driving the balls off that car.
Yeah, no, and they both look like they had so much fun on that weekend.
I'd
welcome them back. If you're going to put a wild card in, they're the wild card I want to see. We'll crowd fund them a wild card entry next year.
I don't know how
$1
much
at a time.
We'll start no, we won't start an Indiegogo. That's just too much effort. I think we'll just keep dropping hints to Roland.
Yeah. We'll start sending emails once a day.
We're on such good terms with Roland. We're like, hey, Roland.
He told us to fuck off at V8s.
Yeah, he did. He was having no time for us.
Yeah.
We'll ambush the 2 drivers. We'll ambush Shane and Jamie when they come back up and we get to do the driver meeting next year.
Yeah, okay. We better learn how to say their names then. Bit of a break now these days in the V8 round. Poor Shane's got it sitting there waiting now until he can finally sign, seal and deliver this championship.
He must. That's a great result though, really, because at the start of the year no one thought he was going to win the championship.
Everyone doubted him. Everyone said he's too inconsistent. And to be honest, start of the year I went, yeah, he is too inconsistent. But he's growing. The team's really started to set that car up right for him and everything, and he's doing a great job. So good on him. And
he's molded really well with the team.
He has. And him and Jamie seem to get along pretty well.
Yeah.
So they seem to race even on the weekend.
Jamie came up and apologised after the race when he tapped him.
Yeah, and that was fine. It looked good.
I mean, Shane did work his way back to 3rd during that race.
It didn't look put on either that Shane was genuine about it. Like, that's all good, man. You're having a crack. It's all good. So no, and I think Shane's a bit like that. Unless you pitting it over to him.
Yeah.
He's not going to have...
He'd be pretty...
Yeah, he's pretty chill. So, no. Is there anything you wanted to add from the weekend as such?
That I hate sprint races and hard tyre races.
Yeah, not much happened.
That's it.
High achiever for the weekend, you reckon?
I think really it was Shane. He did the best over weekend. He really was. One thing I just want to say, maybe the guys at New Zealand at Pukekohe Raceway should just lift their roof on their podium.
Yeah.
Still very cramped there, isn't it?
Yeah. They need to drop the top step down a bit too. It looks like it's hard to even get on.
Yeah.
It's about 2 foot high.
And we had, a couple of years ago, Jason Bright smashed the light.
Yeah, yep.
And I thought it was going to happen again this time.
Yeah, he did put his hands up too.
Yeah. But no, that's all I've got. The racing was very... Apart, not Lowndes. Lowndes did. He did good little passes, but Frosty's start on the Saturday second race, that was fantastic.
He did a good job. Yep.
How do you rate Frosty? We can rate Frosty now.
Okay, yeah, you were talking about this earlier about what about the whole championship?
Just his championship defense.
Um,
Really, you got a
pretty poor,
pass,
I guess.
fail, or
I would say fail.
yeah,
in
he's
their
failed.
eyes. In their eyes, I'd say definitely a fail.
And I don't think that was Frosty.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't put that all down to Frosty. I'd say I put that 95% down to the team. I think Frosty at some points this year has dropped the ball, but I think nearly every driver in the field has had a moment here and there where they've dropped the ball.
I hope Frosty really rebounds and comes back
PRA
strong.
need to come back. They have not had consistent pace this year. And I think that maybe comes down to the soft tyre. They're not as good on the soft tyre as they are on the hard. So maybe that's all it is. Maybe the hard tyre is not...
Because they were quick on the hard. He was, like, consistent all the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Really. So, yeah. It'll be interesting to see next year. I hope they bring some pace back because it's a bit of a joke at the moment. They're meant to be them and HRT and Red Bull are meant to be the front-running teams, and they've just not really been there that often. They're there every now and then. Every second meeting they'll have a PRA car up the front, but they're not consistent like they were.
Yeah. And really, even as much as, I'm a big Triple Eight fan and, Red Bull Racing fan and stuff, I do like to see the championship fight between two different teams.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Even 4 drivers, even if it's got 2 drivers from each team, but 4 different drivers. How good would that be?
It just, yeah.
It'd make it very political, but because teams will start choosing which driver is their number one driver.
This is another thing that I know, I'm all over the shop, but we keep talking about things and things are popping in my mind. Number one driver at DJR next year. Who is it?
We were talking about this the other day, actually. I don't know. I think Scotty. I think Scotty, in the little time he's been in V8s, I know he's been in it for probably 5 years now, or 4 years now, but
yeah,
he has been pretty assertive over every teammate he's had.
He's outdriven them.
He hasn't had the best teammates so far.
No, he's had a lucky run.
But you think Moff was not too bad in the Nissan. He was as fast as Caruso and Rick.
Moff was nowhere this race.
And Moff's started to find some pace in that car, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm thinking it's really Moff's coming down to the Volvos. It must just be a pig to drive.
Oh yeah,
well, not so much a pig, but I reckon.
I did watch an interview with Moff, and he basically talked about why he's struggling so much. And he said, "I like a very different car that Scotty likes. Scotty likes a planted car. Scotty likes a floaty car. Yeah." And he just dances the car around the track. He just sort of
you see that even in the in-car, he's always just working the wheel.
Yeah, he's floating that car, balancing throttle and steering constantly, where Moff likes a planted car that he knows, when he touches that throttle and gives it 30% throttle, it's not going to start to slide and he doesn't have to catch it. It's uneasy when he's got to do all those things. He can't drive it on the edge like that. He wants it to be planted and give him better feedback. Mm-hmm. And that's what's really hurt him this year. So it'll be interesting to see how Scotty goes in a DJR car, which is a completely different car. Yeah. So it will be,
It'll be interesting.
Actually, one thing I wanted to ask you, all right, for all our New Zealand and Australian listeners out there, do you think New Zealand get behind their drivers more?
Yeah, hell
and
yeah.
Does it kind of irritate you?
No, I can understand why. There's only 5 of them in the field.
That's a pretty big number.
Yeah,
that's
but then
not
all the others
in the field.
All the others are Australian.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like they hate the Australian drivers. I don't hate any of the New Zealand drivers because they're New Zealand.
Do they hate Australia? They just hate us because they ain't us.
Yeah, they hate us because they ain't us.
No, I like...
Do you think it's healthy? It definitely brings a bit of...
I don't mind a bit of rivalry across the ditch.
Yeah. I actually think it's good. I just wanted to bring it up because I noticed it pretty bad on the weekend, especially when Wing Cup turfed Giz.
Oh, yeah.
And did you hear it coming down the pit lane? Piss off, you fucking wanker!
Yeah, I mean the guys
Like,
they love
They didn't censor that.
V8s. I watch V8s and I'm just like, I hope they fix the team radio issues and they copy Formula One. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I want them to copy is the way they do the team radios. Like Scafie and Crompton just talk over it, and like if you're just going to talk over it, don't even play it because I'm trying to listen to it.
No, I agree 100%. We've talked about it before, but I agree with you. I was thinking of it in the weekend as well because I wanted to hear it. And like, put some money in developing this side of it, and I thought exactly the same thing. Look at what your competitive market's doing. So, as in other motorsports that are being broadcast, they broadcast team radio, and
I want to hear
part.
what they're saying.
Yeah,
I think they should be doing more team radio.
I think even if I like hearing, oh, the rear end's loose, what do you reckon we should do? Oh, just move the bars. I like hearing that stuff. I don't know about everyone out there, but that's one of my favorite things
to hear. A bit more of an understanding of what the drivers are going through at that stage. Because really, when you don't hear anything from them or the communications, it just looks like they're sitting there driving.
Yep.
You don't know they're going through all these extra things.
Yep. Agreed.
So we've got to last wrap up from last week. Who wins Scafie's car control moment? We didn't get any votes. I don't know if people saw them or if they didn't realize that they were videos, but I posted them up and no one cared. So you get to vote. Was it Ricardo or was it
was it Alonso?
Alonso or Ricardo last week?
Oh, I don't know.
Don't know.
When I think about each one in individual, like if I think about Alonso going off, I'm like, it's definitely Alonso. And then I think about, but he didn't wipe the front off the car.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I watched the same thing too. You're like, you watch Alonso's and you're like, well, he has to do it. He was sideways on the grass, come back on the track, kept it all under control and didn't hit anyone. And then you watch Ricardo and you're like, well, he's locked up. He's bumping with Vettel and he's still... The cars were still racing at the end of the track.
Well, I'm going to follow the New Zealanders over the weekend, and I'm going to say Ricardo. I'm going to be patriotic.
All right. Ricardo won. There you go, Ricardo. You won Scafie's car control moment of last round, and I don't think there was much...
There wasn't too much this round, no.
There was lots of uncar control. They were all going off and everywhere, so no car control moment this...
Actually, that was one thing. What did you think of... Dale Wood and who was it that come off the track and drove in front of him?
I can't remember. Dale Wood's gone off track all the time. If you're asking me what I think about Dale Wood this week, not much. Not much. I haven't. I mean, I've given him some thought, but not positive thinking.
Was it Moff? I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, it was Moff, and then Dale Wood punted him because
and
Moff
blamed him for it.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you should have done it, mate. Yeah, but Moff sort
dangerous
of didn't
re-entry, and Moff got pinged for it, which is fine. He couldn't control it. It's not like he deliberately come back on the track like that. But Dale, come on, look at your fucking window.
Yeah.
You know where he's going to re-enter. Lift off the gas. He's going to have to give you the position. And he just drove straight into it. It just was reckless. He just throwing away money.
Yep. Well, on that, we've got... So, are you going to watch the race live on Monday?
I don't know anymore.
Don't know anymore. I don't know what's going on.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning this time.
It's very early. So you're not even going to finish it. You'll be able to finish it and have an hour's sleep and then get up at 6?
Yeah. I think I will. I'll try to.
I know. I kind of want to watch it because I think this is the one that Rosberg's going to win.
Yeah, I think the championship probably will be over this weekend. I think Rosberg will bounce back and it will be interesting to see. But... see how it goes.
You never know. It'll be exciting.
Yeah, it will be. I'm looking forward to it.
So we'll either...
And looking forward to see if Ricardo can get back up on that podium again.
Yeah.
He's had a great run this year.
This
fantastic. Last 10 rounds or 5 rounds or so, he's been just consistent. And Red Bull got to take their hat off to... You got to take your hat off to Red Bull as well because they've just kept developing that car when other people were not. And it's really showed...
They've done fantastic in the back half of this season. But I think that's us this week.
Yeah, not too much in this episode. Sorry, guys.
There's lots of stuff in there. Don't say not much. All right.
there's heaps of stuff, but
lots of stuff.
Not much happens in sprint races, so
I
there's not
know.
much to talk
So
about the race.
if you don't like the fact that our episode's if you hate the fact that our episode's a bit shorter this week, write to Supercars Australia and just let them know that their sprint races suck.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to write to them, you can write to us
and
email us at breakinglate@gmail.com.
Hit us up on Facebook, Breaking Late.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, next Monday we'll be recording again after the Formula 1.
Brazil.
Too easy.
Catch you guys later.
Catch ya.
See ya.